أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ويل لكل همزة لمزة الذي جمع مالا وعدده يحسب أن ماله أخلده كلا لينبذن في الحطمة وما أدراك ما الحطمة نار الله الموقدة التي تطلع على الأفئدة إنها عليهم مؤصدة في عمد ممددة صدق الله العظيم. In Surah Humazah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala names or mentions three sins, three things which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or the Quran Kareem has condemned. Three such sins. What are these? The first of these is Humazah. Humazah, referring, one tafsir that Mufassirun have done, is that Humazah refers to speaking evil of someone behind in their absence, meaning backbiting. Right? It boils down to it being backbiting. In anyone's absence, to say something wrong about them, to say something evil regarding that person. And that refers to, that is what Humazah refers to. The second is Lumazah. Lumazah meaning a person says something, verbally abuses another person in front of them, in front of their face. That in itself is also a sin. And many times that we understand that backbiting is a sin, that to say something behind someone's back. And to clarify first that what is backbiting? Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam himself described, and Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam himself explained to us what is backbiting. What is the definition of backbiting? So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that ذِكْرُكَ أَخَاكَ بِمَا يَكْرَهُ, to mention anything about your brother, مَا يَكْرَهُ, which he may dislike, which if you were to say it in front of him, he would not like that. If he would not like it to be said in front of him, don't say it behind him. So the Sahaba radiallahu anhum asked, Ya Rasulullah, إِن كَانَ فِيهِ مَا تَقُولُ, that if what I say is really found in him, what I said, it's not a lie. Just as, for example, when many times we say that no, it's true, I'm just stating the fact, right? That's just how he is. The person is like that. So Sahaba radiallahu anhum asked the same question, that إِن كَانَ فِيهِ مَا أَقُولُ, or إِن كَانَ فِيهِ مَا تَقُولُ, that if it is really found in him. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, إِن كَانَ فِيهِ مَا تَقُولُ فَقَدْ اغْتَبْتَهُ وَإِن لَمْ يَكُنْ فِيهِ مَا تَقُولُ فَقَدْ بَهَتَّهُ, that if it is found in him, what you are saying is true, you're not making up something, that in itself is ghibah. That is the very definition of ghibah. And وَإِن لَمْ يَكُنْ فِيهِ مَا تَقُولُ, if it's not found in him, فَقَدْ بَهَتَّهُ, then you have done buhtan, a separate sin which is slander. Right? So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam very clearly mentioned this hadith that ghibah means to say something true about, even though it's true about a person, to say that behind that person, that he would not like it, or she would not like that this thing is being said about them. And if a person is making up false things, that is even worse, that's a separate sin, and that is buhtan. Buhtan meaning slander, that when a person gets a sin for speaking behind someone, and second, spreading lies about that person, that's another sin. The Quran Kareem has mentioned this sin to be something very abhorrent. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks, that أَيُحِبُّ أَحَدُكُمْ أَنْ يَأْكُلَ لَحْمَ أَخِيهِ مَيْتًا فَكَرِهْتُمُوهُ, that would you like that you eat the flesh of your dead brother? Would anyone like this? That this is what ghibah is. The ulama explained that why is it like eating the flesh of a person's dead person? That if you were to say something evil in front of someone, at least that person can defend themselves. They can say something back, or they can physically stop you, verbally stop, they'll be able to defend themselves. But a person who, if you're backbiting, if a person is backbiting, speaking behind someone, then that person is helpless, the one who's being spoken about. Right? There's no way he can defend himself. So that is a person being cowardly. That's like eating, or that's like harming a dead person. The one is that you try to harm a person who is alive, if at the very least they'll run away from you. Right? If they can't fight back, they'll run away. The person the body which is dead, a dead body, what can that do? It can't do anything. It can't protect itself. So that's the example of the person. That's how abhorrent it is to backbite about someone. And unfortunately, this is one of the most common sins found in almost every tabaqah and every fraternity today in the ummah, even Muslim, non-Muslim, those that are leaders or they're subordinate, everyone, this type of sin is being found. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from this. And the other sin in which is mentioned, that is condemned in this surah, is lumazah. that many times a person is stopped from backbiting, the brother that you shouldn't backbite about from a person, then they say, well, I'll say it to his face too. I'll say it to him. I'm not scared. So that is Humazah then. That's still a sin. Saying one is a sin of backbiting, ghibah, behind someone. That's one sin. Second sin is a person says something evil to a person directly in their face. It doesn't become right. That I'll say it to him. That's also bad. That has its own it's wrong from two angles. One is that a person is using abusive words, wrong words. Something which would cause difficulty to another person's heart. And secondly, openly the person is saying it. That this person, as soon as he hears it, now he'll feel hurt in his heart also. And that in itself will also cause a fitna. And that also will cause some corruption in the community and between the two people, obviously. So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, the waylun, woe to every slanderous reviler. Waylun likulli humazatin, lumazah, habitual defamer. Wail means woe over here. Others have also, Mufassirun have said, the wail refers to a valley in Jahannam. A specific valley in Jahannam made for such people. That in Jahannam there will be certain places which are special. It's the opposite of VIP room, right? VIP is something good that is understood. And those people that have these specific wrongs in them, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has kept these specific places for them in Jahannam. So وَيْلٌ لِكُلِّ هُمَزَةٍ لُمَزَةٍ الَّذِي جَمَعَ مَالًا وَعَدَّدَهُ. A third sin that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions over here, which the Quran Kareem, the surah is condemning, is that person who hoards wealth and the person continuously counts it. الَّذِي جَمَعَ مَالًا. A person hoards it. Not having wealth. One is a person saves wealth. Our teacher Maulana Sulaiman Sahib, who used to teach, who taught us Muslim Sharif, Jalalain, Hidayah also, he used to say that the Sahaba radhiyallahu anhum used to say in Urdu that Sahaba radhiyallahu anhum beshak maldar the, lekin dunyadar nahi the. He used to say that the Sahaba radhiyallahu anhum, they were definitely wealthy. Amongst them, not all of them, some amongst them were definitely wealthy, but none of them were worldly. Right? He used to make a difference between maldar and dunyadar. That worldly versus wealthy. That what's the difference between the two? Wealthy is a person has wealth. That can be towards a person's favor, or that can work against a person. And very simply, a person gives the wajibat, the necessity, that whatever a person rights are in that wealth, a person spends that and spends it in the correct avenues, the avenues that he has to spend in, the huquq, the rights of that wealth, he fulfills it. Now this mal, this wealth that he has, it becomes a dakhira for him, a treasure for him in the Jannah. Now this becomes something good for him, it's working towards him, it's working for him. Versus that mal that is over, that a person has, that wealth a person has, he or she does not fulfill the rights of that mal. Now that wealth becomes a wabal and it becomes a burden for that person. So now this wealth is not good. So dunyadar or worldly means that person has this mahabbah and love for mal and for wealth in his heart, such that it stops a person from fulfilling the wajibat and from fulfilling the obligations that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put upon the wealth. So الَّذِي جَمَعَ مَالًا, that's why the translation we do it as hoards wealth. Not just to keep them. Otherwise a person can't live hand to mouth. A person needs to have a certain type of savings. A person needs to keep some money aside. That is how human psychology works, and we need to sometimes save for the future. That's not what the ayah is saying. That person should immediately stop whatever he has that's of excess, that he must give it into sadaqat and charity and to the masjid. No. الَّذِي جَمَعَ مَالًا, the one who hoards wealth. Hoarding will be when a person is not fulfilling the rights in it. So a person needs to spend upon his or her family, they must spend upon the family. The father, for example, the parents are old, they must spend upon the parents that they can also live. A person needs to give his zakat and wajibat, whatever other monetary wajibat are upon a person. If a person is doing that, then they will not fall under under this ayah. Then that person will be considered that he is fulfilling the huquq and the rights of the mal. So الَّذِي جَمَعَ مَالًا وَعَدَّدَهُ, and he's always counting it. That this is a type of sign that how much love and how this person is completely just so to say infatuated with his wealth. That anytime he finds time, he's always counting, how much do I have, how much do I have? Maybe something, did it go down? Has my account diminished? Has it not diminished? So a person is completely oblivious of everything else, and a person is only turned towards this. that whatever wealth he has, this becomes his morning, this becomes his night. This being the month of Ramadan, many of us also give our zakah. It's very important that we understand some rules regarding zakah and some fiqh behind zakah. That firstly, zakah is a necessity upon males and females. This is the very first masala that should be understood. The females of the community are not exempt from zakah. Just as males have to give zakah, females also have to give zakah. Yes, it's another thing that, for example, if the husband or if someone in the family would like to give zakah on behalf of someone else, that's fine. That is their own voluntary act that they're doing. Otherwise, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's command is directed to each mukallaf person, right? Each person who is responsible, each baligh, each person who is mature and who has the nisab, the minimal threshold of zakah. So both males and females have to give zakah, whether the person is earning or not. Right? If a person has the minimum threshold of zakah, which is some approximately right now nowadays about some $350-400, which is very low amount right now. If a person has that amount, then or more than that, then the person has to give 2.5% on that wealth that is there. Jewelry, for example, that is of gold and silver, that is zakatable, whether it's being used or not. Zakat jewelry which is used. Many times we heard that, I have no wealth. Many times this question comes from the sister's side, that I have no money. Or the husband says that my wife, she doesn't have any money. Does she have jewelry? Yes. How much? $10,000 worth. That is money. That is wealth. The jewelry is considered to be wealth. That's why she has it. If it wasn't wealth, it would be out of the house. Right? So the jewelry is considered to be wealth. The gold and silver jewelry, the zakah must be given upon it. So either either someone else loans them cash, or they sell that, or something is done. Regardless, zakah must 2.5% must be given upon that jewelry. Also, many times people ask that they have properties. Properties, as long as it's not for the intention of buying and selling, right? Many people buy property they buy it and then they sell it, right? So as long as it's not for that, it's just for income, for example, it's for rental. People sometimes have farms back home. So that is not zakatable, the field itself. Otherwise, there are many other masail of zakah. Inshallah, everyone can ask their own private. Another important one or common one is that many people that have 401ks, pensions, all that money is zakatable, right? Whatever is in the 401k, the pensions, these are all zakatable. Yes, a person does have this much choice that they can give zakah on that when they take out the 401k. When the 401k, if you want to call it, matures or whatever, when the age 55 and a half or whatever it is, when the time comes that person can take it out without the penalties, yes, for the previous years, now you can give it at that time. This much, there is, so to say, leeway. The person can delay it until that point. Right? So a person hasn't been giving it for the last 20 years, 30 years on the 401k. Now once you do give it, once you pull out the money from the 401k, then you have to pay for the last 20 years upon that. That obviously sometimes tends to be a little cumbersome on people. So that's why we advise that throughout the years that it is there, you continuously give it. Otherwise, 20 times the amount that needs to be given, it becomes difficult sometimes, a little pinch in the pocket. So that person doesn't fall into that fitna, that's why we say that throughout the time a person should or can give their zakah also. So الذي جمع مالا وعدده يحسب أن ماله أخلده. That he thinks that his wealth will immortalize him. يحسب أن ماله أخلده. That this ayah shows that this person, how deeply he is rooted, or how deeply money is rooted into his heart. And now he thinks that it is only wealth that will keep him alive. يحسب أن ماله أخلده. That it will immortalize him, keep him forever. كلا لينبذن في الحطمة. That what will happen to such people? كلا, most surely, لينبذن في الحطمة. They will be hurled into the crusher. This is one name of Jahannam. Al-Hutamah is another name for Jahannam, for hell. Over here, Al-Hutamah has been translated as the crusher. That normally in the world we see that fire burns, right? We don't say the quality of fire is crushing. The ayah, the surah is saying that the sifa, the quality of Jahannam, the fire of Jahannam, is that not only will it burn, but it will be in columns and in pillars, and it will crush a person also. So it's the physical pain that will also come with the fire crushing them, as well as it obviously burning. يحسب أن كلا لينبذن في الحطمة وما أدراك ما الحطمة. And what will make you realize what is the crusher? What do you know about the crusher? You're referring to the Jahannam. نار الله الموقدة, that it is the fire of God set ablaze in hell forevermore. نار الله الموقدة التي تطلع على الأفئدة, that indeed upon them it shall descend, which mounts over and pierces their hearts. That in the world, if a person's body is burnt before it even reaches the heart, that person will die. But one double adab, so to say, of Jahannam is that there is no death. Sometimes if a person is in such difficulty, it's easier, and many times people start saying that it's better that I die because of the pain that person is in, right? But the Quran Kareem says that in Jahannam there is no death. So even the adab, it won't come to an end, right? As soon as a person's skin will be burnt, also in the Quran Kareem, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that their jild, their skin will be changed into another skin, so that again they can feel that same pain. And if the fire continues, then it will even reach to their hearts. The التي تطلع على الأفئدة إنها عليهم مؤصدة, indeed upon them it shall descend and trammel them in ever extending pillars. في عمد ممددة. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us from these fitan, from the adab. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the qualities of believers. وآخر دعوانا.